Right, folks, fantastic Monday morning. Welcome all. Not too sure what the day has in store for us, but I'm sure we'll find out shortly. So I'm going to hand over to Lee to kick us off.
Morning, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend and rearing to go for the week ahead. So we ended Friday. Yes, go Guy. We ended Friday. We were talking about our own personal wisdom and how we could phrase that in a personal quote. And I'm going to, I posted Nazipos on LinkedIn, and I hope you don't mind. There's some of them were just too good to not share, and so I would love to be able to share them on LinkedIn, because I think we can share the wisdom of this group with others. And I'll just copy you in so you can also make a comment. But coming from that, we spoke then about, okay, so I've learned this wisdom, or I've gained this wisdom that's true for me, that's personal for my life experience. How am I applying that? How am I actually not only know this wisdom from a head or even a heart perspective, but how is it actually playing out in my life, that I'm implementing my own wisdom? And I must say, it's all very well to come up with these great ideas, but then you have to think about it yourself. So I had been thinking, we've been speaking a lot about thinking about our thinking. And I realized I had to think differently now and look at what I'm doing. What am I actually doing that is reflecting any kind of wisdom? Or am I just on a hamster wheel? Maybe it's a different hamster wheel than what I was before lockdown. But am I now just perpetuating another cycle of busyness, or whatever the case may be? And I think one of the things that I realized that I'm implementing now, even more so, but it's something that I do on an ongoing basis, is realizing that I am a part of, and also play a pivotal role in, an ecosystem. And that ecosystem is social, physical, mental, emotional. So I just looked at my weekend. So starting with Friday, did some work, but in the afternoon, I decided I was going to contact some friends that I hadn't spoken to in a while, and was able then to just connect with them. Just, how are you? How's everything going? I spoke to my sister-in-law that I hadn't spoken to in a while, finding out she's my brother and sister-in-law are divorced, but still staying in touch with her, finding out how she's managing single parenting, looking after my nephew. On Saturday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, I played Scrabble with my mom. And that is my mom's love language, playing Scrabble. And if she wins, I don't let her win, otherwise then she definitely won't appreciate that. But if she wins, she's even happier. And on Saturday, she slaughtered me. And then there's also just keeping in touch with adult children, working out how to communicate, how much to communicate. And then it's also self-care. How am I looking after myself physically, emotionally? And I realized that all of this is a delicate balance that you are managing. I certainly am, if I think about myself, applying this. Some of it's intuitive, some of it is choice, but it's recognizing that you are connected through a number of threads that, to me, create this ecosystem. And that is what I've been implementing in terms of the wisdom that's been given to me, is my role in keeping this ecosystem healthy? So that's really where I want to just leave thoughts with you, and to find out from you whether you've given it some thought. If you haven't, it doesn't matter, but maybe just start processing what wisdom, what do I know to be true, and how am I implementing that in my life at the moment?
Surely you do realize this is Monday morning, eh? I mean, that's some deep thoughts there. So fantastic way to kick things off. So, sure, who shall we pick on first this morning? Let's go across to Jasper.
Why so early? I'm still having my breakfast, but I think, yeah, Lee, this is a deep topic, and it's in line with what we also do with our geek training, where we have the symbol of the house, and we say we are all on a daily basis each busy working to build this legacy house, which at its root has a foundation of wisdom, and the walls are the knowledge of wealth, and the other wall is the application of that knowledge. And I think that's what you're referring to here as wisdom. But the house is incomplete if it doesn't have a roof. And we say the roof shapes and sizes, but it's a reflection of the vision that you have for your own life and for your family. And then we, on a daily basis, go ahead and we build our family house or our legacy. And which means that you're either busy in the area of wisdom, the foundation, and much of our foundation of wisdom comes from the interaction with other people who shape you and challenge you on what you believe. Or we are busy with the aspect of new knowledge on wealth. How does it work? And for me, that's what pretty much happened on a Friday morning when we sit in a high pressure environment and we allow ourselves to be exposed on how we want to build our businesses and wealth. And then what you just explained is, how do I now apply it? And that application is, wealth is far more than money. Wealth is that relationship, and wealth is your spiritual connection and all those things. And then with that, we get a better understanding of our worth, and then the whole cycle repeat itself. So I can't pinpoint to specific things like Scrabble and all sorts of things, but I think my whole thing is focusing on the Sunday night is more or less my highlight. And last night was a special night when we introduced Geek Youth. And I was just very emotional to see how young people between 18 and 26 is catching on to the message and how they apply it and how it's changing their perspective. So, yeah, I think if one say then wisdom is applied knowledge, then I can agree with you that we are all constantly busy with figuring it out for ourselves.
Right, thanks, Jasper. Guy, let's come across to you.
Lee, you've really got all of us, especially me. I'm glad I had a shower this morning. Personally, for me, wisdom is every day, the knowledge and the experiences that one goes through. And I've obviously found that more and more being on various Zoom meetings, not only on one-on-one with clients, but also at groups like this, where you, and I think you can only comment on something if you really experienced something. You know, if you've gone through something, then you can comment on it. If you haven't experienced something, then you know, then you're bulldusting yourself and you think you've got wisdom. So to me, it's every day I'm gaining wisdom and experience by, and especially with my connections and my interactions on LinkedIn. I'm finding it very fascinating. So thank you, and I look forward to Stella's and Trevor's and Mapola. Let's go.
Thanks, Guy. Let's go across to Donovan. And by the way, Donovan, if your daughter wants to sit in, she's more than welcome. So don't chase her away if she wants to be there. So, but let's come across to you.
Hi, morning everyone. Trust you all well and awake. I don't know if you mind if I just share I prepared a small, short slide presentation. If I can share that. Now to access it now. I'm trying to find it now. Sorry about that. I'm almost there.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Life never happens at the pace you want it to happen.
Yeah,
Especially when you're under pressure.
Yeah, sorry about this. Where is it now? It was all ready before we started.
Just blame your IT guy. I do it all the time, Donovan.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to blame myself then. Yeah. I don't know how to find it. The file manager appears different when I, share it, but when I'm on my screen, my normal screen, I can just easily find it.
Okay, Donovan, I think what you need to do is just try and, as you say, if it's a presentation, if you can open the presentation up. In the meantime, you just pop across to someone else. If you open it up and have it on your screen, and then when we come back to you, you should be able to just share the screen.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that.
All right. Stella, let's go across to you.
Morning, everyone. I hope you all had a good weekend. Sure, Lee, that was, you really woke me up this morning in this cold weather. I think for me, the wisdom that I've acquired is that to know that I don't know everything, and to that eager to learn every day. I want to, till the day I die, I want to every day learn something new. So that is very exciting for me. Also, I think I want to every day try and do something that makes me happy, just to be happy. And if not to regret later on, to say, oh, I didn't do things that made me happy. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but yes, so I just want to aspire to be happy and to do things to make myself happy. And in turn, if you're happy, you make the other people around you happy. Okay, that's niche, short and sweet. Have a good week, everyone.
Right, thanks, Stella. Let's go across to Cecile. Morning, Cecile.
Hi. When I listen to Lee and all the wisdom things, then I think, oh my word, despite being anything to do with Mensa, I have no wisdom at all. Because I saw that when Lee wrote about what the people said on Friday, she said my one whatever motto. She didn't say the motto that's my most important motto in my life, is that I'd rather be sorry about the things that I did than about the things that I did not do. I think that is still my motto in life, and it's probably not very much wisdom at times. My dad used to say, fools rush in where angels fear to tread, because often I just do and I don't think too much about it. So I sound like a very doof person, which I probably am when it comes to wisdoms. But so far, it hasn't worked out too badly. So maybe I should just carry on with that in the next 30 years. But it was interesting that Lee said that maybe we're on a different little hamster wheel now, which is certainly the case with me. So I haven't got the chance to think about visions and wisdoms, and I just do. Sorry, there's that do word again. That's it. I feel like very not wisdomy.
Great, thanks, Cecile. I think one of the things about wisdom is the more you learn, the more you realize you need to learn. So I think it's getting to understand how much you don't know, not necessarily how much you do know. So that's my little thought on that one. But thanks for that. So who should we come across to? Nozipho, let's come to you this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I think on my side, it's been like how I'm applying my truth every day, what I'm doing to ensuring that I apply what I've learned every day. It's probably in how I try, I don't always succeed, to just let go. And, you know, I've always loved controlling things and outcomes, and I find that it becomes very stressful to approach life in that way. So it's in teaching myself every day, especially when I catch myself busy trying to control an outcome or a situation, to remind myself to Nozipho, let it go, like, you know, let go. So that's why I try and do every day, all day. Last night when the president concluded his speech, and, you know, his last sentence was, "It's now in your hands." And, you know, in the entire speech, that's the one thing that hit me, that, you know, like he's now saying it's now in your hands, like, you know, he's giving it back to us. And I don't know how I'm going to balance that with the letting go. But yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Nozipho. It looks like Donovan is sort of getting his presentation sorted out. So Donovan, let's switch back to you. Donovan, can you hear us? Okay, Donovan, so I've unmuted you. I think you're obviously struggling with some elements there, but something seems to be on your screen. But at the moment, it's me, but not your presentation.
Yeah. Okay, I hope you can see it now. Hello?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, yeah. Just briefly, my first thought about wisdom when I was asked to prepare something was, it's basically the application of knowledge. Often people say knowledge is power, but knowledge on its own is powerless. It's like a book that's just in the cupboard on a shelf. If it's just lying or standing there, it's got no meaning, it's got no impact, it's got no power. But when you apply what's in that book, then you'll see the results, and that is the power of it. So yeah, so I just used the picture of a closed door. So when you are confronted by a closed door, you can do a few things to it. You can either pass by it, or you can try and find a way to open it, but you need the knowledge, the key to open it. So if you can do that, then that's basically the application of the knowledge that you need to, you know, access whatever is behind that door. So I also came across this book title. I didn't read it, but it's an interesting title. It says Taxi Driver Wisdom. Now we all know that taxi drivers, especially Uber drivers, they meet with a lot of people. Obviously they learn a lot, you know, a lot of life stories, I would presume. And that's what wisdom is about, is getting of information, especially real life stories, and applying that. And that's, you know, the key to achieving results and succeeding in life, and ending up opening the door that was locked and entering through it and making use of the opportunities. As someone said, an opportunity of a lifetime must be utilized in the life of that, in the lifetime of that opportunity. Otherwise, it will have no meaning. It can just pass you by and you won't enjoy any benefit that is presented through that opportunity. So in my life, besides being a professional conservator, also realized the importance of having more than one stream of income. And as you can see on my contact list, I've got more than one stream of income. I'm a professional conservator. I'm also doing charity work, an NGO called the Global Fund for Jesus, whereby I'm an ambassador. I'm also involved in community projects. We've done a few health and wellness campaigns. And then I'm also doing a bit of IT on the side, and also in ministry. So I would also like to thank Jasper for sharing the gig concept with us, with our family. We've learned such a lot, and we are growing so much through that platform. Thank you, everyone.
Great, thanks, Donovan. Right, let's go across to Kevin. Kevin, you're muted. Kevin?
Yeah, morning, everyone. Yeah, so I missed the start of this conversation the end of last week. So I thought over the weekend I've looked up the definition of wisdom from the English Oxford Dictionary. It's the ability to use your knowledge and experience to make good decisions and judgment. So I thought, well, how do I do that? So I've come up with an example, an analogy relating to me, if you like, from my running and fitness background. Using my knowledge and experience, I know that now at my age and with my recent travails of illness and injury, I'm not going to be running any more marathons anytime soon. So I'm using my knowledge, my experience. I'm listening to what my body's telling me. I know now when to stop. I learned when to stop. I learned when not to go out. And I learned what distances to do and what exercise to do. So yeah, so that's my take on wisdom. Just one example, using it to listen to my body.
Great, thanks, Kevin. And I think the ultimate wisdom sometimes is the simplest of things, and I think a lot of people don't take those little things into account sometimes. And yeah, so thanks for that. Let's go across to Solomon.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So, Lee, the question about applied wisdom, I think, if I understood well, you were basing this on those homework that you gave us to write. What are some of the codes that you've written? I don't know if I'm right, because I'm getting challenged hearing people speaking about wisdom from the beginning. But anyway, I think that's what I'm basing what I'm trying to say this morning, that having put this line, seize the moment and be the best you can while you're still alive. From a personal point of view, I feel like I need to be given from an overflow, from a satisfaction. So one of the things I'm doing is to try to develop some of my talents that I had not, in the past, given myself airtime to develop them. Because before I start to go to other people and do this and do that, I feel like I need to be satisfied. And then, the other thing was just trying to apply wisdom when I decided that my family and I are going to be joining GIG. Just from the relationship that my wife was having, and we had a bit of strain, etc., etc. It has not been easy to actually just influence her for us to do this and that, this and that, because obviously there was trust that needed to be reconciled, etc., etc. Also, including the kids, you know, just that wisdom of trying to say, okay, we're struggling with different issues in this family, so how can we make a difference to our kids? So then we decided we are going to homeschool them, so we actually have you know, strong bonds as a family. And then from a business point of view, the wisdom that I'm applying is to try to learn from others at all times, gleaning from how people have failed in other aspects of business and trying to apply that into my life. All right.
Great, thanks, Solomon. Mpho, let's come across to you.
Morning, everyone. So I just sent a private message to Lee. Does anybody, do you have an answer to that question, Lee?
I'm answering now.
Okay.
Did you want to speak to?
No, I just wanted to know, he's kind of been on my mind, especially with what he's going through. So I just wanted to check how he's doing.
So Mpho asked about Steve Carter, who's been a regular on our group. And so his wife is pregnant with their third baby, and she's on bed rest at the moment. So I think she's doing okay, but it does mean that she can't do anything. So a lot is falling on Steve at the moment. But as far as tests, there were some tests as to whether the baby was Down syndrome. I don't know if that's been concluded yet, but the indications were that it didn't seem as if the baby was Down's.
All right, please do send my regards. Okay, so thank you for this wonderful topic. So I obviously did miss Friday. I did spend the greater part of my day on Friday at a hospital with our son. But yeah, it looks like everything is okay now. There was talk of another surgery. You know, my son had surgery in May this time last year, heart surgery. So there was another talk of another surgery now, but we seem to have dodged the bullet, so thank God. So I have this quote that I use for myself. I'm not going to talk about the origins of the quote, but Nozipho will know. It says, when the gates of heaven open, let the gods come in. And this quote is about just coming into my own and embracing who I am with my gifts and my talents. Because I think for a greater part of my life journey, there's always been, you know, really, like, you know, this element of doubt. You know, am I truly great? Or, you know, is it just my grandmother had to tell me because I was her favorite? Or, you know, at Epworth, they had to tell me because I was the, you know, we're the black kids. Or, you know, there was always that element of doubt. But that quote has helped me to embrace this idea that I am a powerful being with a role to play. So talking about gates of heaven opening, it's all the opportunities that come, and the gods coming in is about me taking my rightful place in any situation. And that has helped me a lot. So in terms of this idea of wisdom, I think the past 18 months have been so grueling in, you know, when you don't want to wake up in the morning. I think that's the worst feeling. Like you don't want to go to work, or you don't, because you're so torn. You know, I think I had this conversation with Lee. That's been the hardest thing, you know, parenting, work, you know, always being busy, but you're not fully present in any space that you're in, because you're half there. I think for me, that's been the toughest part of my life journey. But coming to a point where you say, this is what is important to me, this is what I'm going to prioritize, and it's okay to say no, that has been most liberating. So I think that's been the most powerful piece of wisdom that I've been able to understand and apply. And then the second one is stronger together. This is one of the values that I learned from home. And I've always made an effort to apply this wisdom in my career. So, you know, relationships that I have with the likes of Mpumelelo in the market research industry, it was always about, we're not competitors. Like, why on earth would we be competitors? Because we all bring something different to the table. So to be able to kind of create that awareness around the industry that we're all great, we all have specialized skills, and we actually don't need to be competing. We're much stronger together. I think that is really another powerful thing that I've learned that works well. And now I've also even made a point to transfer the stronger together amongst my friendship circle. I think COVID-19 has also demonstrated to all of us that we actually are stronger together. The idea of individualism is what is going to destroy us. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mpho. I see Cecila's got her hand up, so we'll go quickly across to her and then to Mpolelo, and then wrap up with Trevor.
I just want to tell someone I delivered some PPE stuff on Sunday to my friend who's the matron at Akiso Hospital, and I was telling them about Mpho and Steve and you, Ivan, and your Downs children, because she has a Downs child as well that is 35 years old, and it was her first child. And then she told me that I must tell all three of you that if you want to talk to her at any time, you are welcome to talk to her, because when she had the Downs child, she was a registered sister anyway at that time, but then she became, I think, the head or in charge or whatever of the Downs organization in South Africa. So for the last 35 years, she's got a lot of knowledge about Downs, and she said she treated her Downs child just like a normal child, and she decided on that day that she was going to stimulate and give him as much attention as possible. And today he's a pretty much functioning part of society. But she said, I must tell you that if any of you want to talk, she will help you, guide you, whatever. So if you want to reach out to me, I'll give you her telephone number. Her name is Audrey Kutsia.
Great, thanks, Cecile. Mpolelo.
All right, good morning to everyone. I'll try and keep it short. Obviously, for me, I spoke about decisions and how they're powerful and how that is becoming the wisdom that I've picked up and how they change the trajectory of life. Obviously, with decision making, there is a big link to wisdom, which is what everybody tended to speak about this morning. I do agree that wisdom is applied knowledge, but if I may add a little bit more to that as well, when you look biblically, when you look at the word wisdom, it used to be linked to the word watchtower. And why that was is that the watchtower used to be a person who would stand in a watchtower, see at a distance what is to come, and then warn everybody else. And that became the word for wisdom, which is to say, over and above applying the knowledge is the ability to see what may come in the future and do what is right at this moment, so that when that reaches you, you're ready for it. So I think for me, it's a definition of wisdom I've always kept to heart, that I must always look at the decisions that I make. What is the impact that they will have in the future? How am I applying that? Let me say, one of the things that I'm picking up and I'm learning is that I tend to be a Superman. I tend to want to do anything and everything, and and more I'm learning that there's things that I'm very good at, there's things I'm somewhat good at, there's things that I'm not good at, and that more and more I should network with other people that are good at the other things that I'm not. And I think that's the wisdom I'm applying now, to say, who can I add value to that needs what I have, and who can add value to me that have what I need. So more and more I'm trying to do that. Another thing I would say, the book has started. I've started writing already, and thanks to this group. So, yeah.
Great, thanks, Mpolelo. Trevor, let's get across to you.
All right, so I've just posted what Wisdoms is all about, and I'm going to relate it back to what Lee asked on Friday. How do you apply that wisdoms that you talked about on Friday? And the wisdom I talked about was putting one foot forward in front of the other. In other words, keep on keeping on. And the background to wisdoms through the three of ourselves, Lee, Ivan, and myself, is basically in that comment there, that wisdoms is designed to be a new school of thinking, a new school of thought, of uncommonly good sense, of disrupting legacies of the past, of questioning the present status quo, of circumventing that which does not work, of innovating into the future, and one that is deliberately, positively non-conventional, counterintuitive, provocative. And listen, I'm the best behaved person on this channel for the last 60 days. Ivan and Lee will tell you, because I haven't got provocative yet. Non-conformist, out of the box, very different, pushing boundaries, fearless, fun, informal, informative. And I think that 99% of that is being lived on this particular platform right now. I really want us to get to the provocative, but I'm holding back. And what Mpumelelo actually turned around and said was, or someone here turned around and said, listen, this is about thinking about what we're going to do in the future now. And I believe this world has completely changed. In the background, I'm setting up the future of wisdoms through Nell in this office environment going forward, because I think we're going to be spending a ton more time doing what we are doing right now. And the trick for us in both life and business is to turn around and say, how can we scale this? And my role for myself is keep on putting one foot forward. And what this team is doing for me is just showing how effective a group of people coming together to collaborate are in this world. But I want to see us 1,000 strong. I want to see us 10,000 strong. I want to see 100,000 Mpumelelos and Impos and Nozipos and Jaspers and Guy. No, I don't want to see Guy. And now I want to get provocative. Where's Guy? I want to push his button. Because I don't want opening batsmen in this network here. But if you change your cricketing habits, then maybe we'll be able to do things. But we want to be able to challenge each other and turn around and say, well, how do we be better than the best? How do we be in the top 1% of individuals that are discovering where they want to be in this coming future? And that's in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and the next 3 to 6 months. That's the challenge we've got to put to ourselves now.
Sure. And I thought I'd managed to lock Trevor down, but he's broken out. So
not yet. I'm coming. Right. I'm coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Ivan, you got to have Trevor at the beginning then, bro, not at the end.
but then we'll never finish on time. I've got to try and find ways to control him. Yeah, that's my wisdom of learning every day. It's only taken me 20 years to get this far. So, you know, next 20 years, I might manage to get a little bit closer to controlling.
We'll put Trevor and Cecile together.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Lee, maybe a quick wrap up from you, and then I think we'll end off for this morning.
Thank you, everyone. Well, I mean, you might have said it was Monday morning, but the thoughts were unbelievably profound. As I said in the chat, I'm very grateful that this is recorded, because you don't want to lose this. You know, it's just, there are some absolute gems and pearls, and to be able to go back to it and say, right, I mean, either I said this or I learned this in this moment. I mean, it is just amazing. So very, very grateful. Zippo, how do you feel about telling your story tomorrow? I'm trusting that you've already been thinking about it, because I did prime you last week. So I'm jumping on you and not giving you much more time.
I kind of knew that when you get to me, you probably won't give me time. So it has been playing in my mind because I've never told my story before. So I will.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited. So I look forward to hearing Nozipho's story tomorrow. And and looking forward to seeing you all back on this platform tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Bring your friends. Nozipho's story is going to be amazing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic day further. See you tomorrow. Cheers now.